between the United States and China and even India, it seems like there is an international game of chicken going on, if you will, when it comes to committing to making specific commitments to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Mr. Blair, how do you get past that? I mean, one of the discussions at the UN last week was who's going to jump first? So how do you get the US and China and India to stop waiting for the other and make a serious commitment?
Well, I think that actually one thing I found encouraging incidentally about the United Nations meeting, I went to address the environment ministers, and I thought that the Indian minister particularly was definitely signaling a shift in policy there, and that's really important. Look, here's something I'm going to say which I think is a little bit heretical about how this negotiation is done. I don't think you can repeat the Kyoto process, precisely because what is really important is to get practical action out of the deal in Copenhagen. In my view, even if you have what countries have individually pledged to do, you take the United States of America, okay, it's back to 1990 levels by 2020, it's the commitments given. Now people want more than that, but let's be clear, if America actually were to do that, that is still a major advance. If you take the Chinese with a new energy intensity target, 15% of their energy production from renewable energy by 2020, peaking in 2030. Now again, we want more, but actually even that is a significant step forward. My feeling is this: the way of overcoming these problems is to get down to practical programs. That's why I mentioned deforestation, for example. The fact is, if it's 15 to 20% of the issue, you're going to have a program on it. If it is true that many of these new power stations are going to be coal-fired, you're going to have to find a way of developing clean coal technology. So my sense, and I would say this also about financing, incidentally, if the financial aspects of this, for adaptation, for new technology, for the developing world, if you leave that to an annual negotiation of finance ministers, believe me, you're going to wait a long time, because these guys have got other priorities, and perfectly naturally too. But if you can find a way, through a mechanism, where you are allowing money to transfer, you're giving incentives again for people to invest in low-carbon technology and application in the developing world, you've got a chance of succeeding. So my point to you is this. I have this debate often with Al Gore, and Al always says to me, quite rightly, he says, where there's a will, there's a way. And I always say, yes, that's true. But if there is a way, then my experience of politics is it's slightly easier to develop the will. And the fact is, there is a way, but it involves now, if I can put it in this way, and I think this is really the key to this negotiation, it's almost, the psychology's got to shift from a campaign to a practical policy-making solution.